Hi friends, a very pleasant good evening and welcome to Oliveboard. I really hope that all of you are doing good. And yes, this Saturday we had our RBI Grade B 2022 examination, phase 1 basically. And we have been waiting for a long time for this particular exam, and now that it is over, there are two things that are happening around. One is obviously we are anxious about the results. We are still wondering whether we'll be in or out. Each one of us is just speculating at our own results. That's what we have been doing for the last 2 days, I believe, 1.5 days, right? So I just would want to tell you one thing, that whatever has been done, it's over, right? You can't go back and change what you have marked on in your answer paper. But the other thing that you can do is actually start thinking about how you need to prepare for phase 2, because eventually when the result is out, you'll just have just 3 weeks to go for the examination. Not even 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks, right? So I can see Nitin joining me. Hi Nitin, hi Akash, good evening. I hope all of you are doing good. And I hope that you guys are thinking about your preparations already. If not, please don't wait, because it's high time you start planning. Okay, and we can also plan it in such a way that for the first 7 days we can have something which is very basic for our preparations, and then we can start the full-fledged preparation once the results are out. That is also one way to look at it, right? So I can see there is Mrunal joining in, Gauri joining in. Hi. Okay, so few of you are asking me about the cutoff, right? That what can be the cutoff and how you guys need to go about your preparation. So let me tell you, the cutoff that we are anticipating is somewhere between 70 plus or minus 3. Okay, it depends upon both the shifts difficulty level. So there is going to be normalization as well. So based on that, obviously that's something which we are expecting. But let's not waste more of our time in thinking about the cutoffs anymore. Let's just straight dive into what one needs to do in order to prepare for phase 2 examination, right? One other thing, I can see, totally understand your dilemma, right? Should I prepare or not? But just one question to you guys. You have been reading or preparing for RBI Grade B 2022, say at least for 3 months now, right? In case you have started it lately. So why can't you just spend 7-8 more days for your preparation? Because that's really going to help you out. It's going to give you an edge over the students who are still thinking that once the results are out, you can start your preparation, right? So for those students who are not wanting to first go ahead and check the results, this is a preparation strategy that we're going to be dealing with. I would request you to not think about it much and straight deep dive into your preparation, right? Let the result take its own course. Let it come after 7 days, and then we can take a call. Okay, so right now guys, even if you are say very few people in this session because you are waiting for the result, I would want each one of you, whoever decides today now that you would be going ahead with your phase 2 preparation, please be with me in this session, understand what you need to do and focus on phase 2. Forget what has happened in phase 1. Okay, so only those students who are really wanting to do so, please stick to the session and let's just take it forward. Understand each and everything. How do we need to go step by step for the next 4 weeks for our phase 2 preparation, right? So just a quick thumbs up in the chat section from those students who are really ready to go out there, understand the strategy for your phase 2 examination. I would be really glad if I can get few thumbs up in the chat section. I will immediately start the session right now. Thank you, Akash, for that thumbs up. Okay, Nitin, thank you for that thing as well. I would want you to focus here right now. Thank you, Mrunal. Thank you, Sarcastic Dude. That's a nice name to go with. Okay. So fine, I'm going to now start, hoping that you guys are going to concentrate here. Okay, keep your focus directly on phase 2. Let's not worry about phase 1 anymore from this point of time. Okay, thank you, Ajay. So I'll be sharing my screen with you now and hope you are able to see my screen. Just a quick thumbs up on that as well. Thank you, Gauri, and thank you, Parul. Fine, now this session is going to be giving you a step-by-step sneak peek into what needs to be done, right? And I want you all to follow it from the start till the end. Let's understand what we need to do step by step. Fine? Okay. Now, taking into account, say from tomorrow, let me just give you a brief idea about what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. The very first thing, we just have 4 weeks, that also not completely 4 weeks, approximately 4 weeks in our hands. We need to be very, very smart to know what needs to be done and what needs to be left out. Okay, so for that, this particular session is going to help you guys. Now, I want each one of you who is watching this session now, or maybe you can come back later and watch this session, okay? You will have to do 2 steps before you begin your phase 2 preparation. In case you have not done them yet, please finish it today only before you move ahead with your preparation, right? So you need to promise me on that part. Step 1. You will have to go through the previous year papers of RBI Grade B. Don't think it is a waste of time. Even if you're spending 2 to 3 hours on this, it is really the golden hours that you're spending. So don't take this lightly. I want each one of you to go back, have a look at the previous year papers of RBI Grade B. Not necessarily solve it, but at least have a look at the kind of questions that were asked in the paper. Now, in case you don't know where to access them, we have made it easier for you. Okay, you can just go to our phase 2 complete course. Under resources, you can see past year papers tab. I have just highlighted here. In case you cannot see the screen, please increase the resolution of the screen, friends. Okay, so this is the first step that you will have to do. So once you click on this tab, you will be able to see the phase 2 objective type papers. Fine, you can see ESI, you can see FM. Please go ahead, have a look at those questions. If you're not wanting to solve it, at least flip through the questions. It is important. Okay, now the descriptive questions asked in RBI Grade B 2021. Fine, I would want each one of you to maybe take a screenshot of it in case you don't know what were the questions that were asked previously. Now let me remind you of the fact that only last year we have seen this change in the pattern. Before that it was completely objective plus descriptive paper, but now we do have descriptive type of questions asked even in the ESI as well as the FM paper. Fine, so quickly take a screenshot and keep this ready with you because I will be moving to the next section. Okay, one thing you need to be very clear with, if you see the 15 marker questions, this is the FM paper that we are discussing. It is very simple, friends. It is just talking about roles and functions of 5 regulatory bodies, Basel norms, corporate governance. Just pause for a second and have a look at these questions. I'm sure even if you're not ready by now, you can relate to these questions 100%. Right? 5 major announcements made in the Union Budget of India. How tough can this particular question be? Right? The next 2 questions are from the management section. Management again is the easiest one to do, but it takes a little bit of time. Right? Moving on to the ESI section again. Just see the type of questions that you can see on your screen. It is question related to Finance Commission, financial crisis, different methods of poverty measurement. Again, each one of you, I'm sure you can see this question and at least recollect few points that you have, maybe you came across through your preparation. Okay, 10 mark questions, again demographic transition related question, very general concept that we read. Fine, and again global climate change, burning issue, disinvestment related question. So I just want you to understand that it is not rocket science, the descriptive part. So even if you're thinking it's going to be tough, then I think you haven't referred the previous year papers. Okay, so again you can see in the chat section also there is a link that is given to you in case you want to access these previous year papers. So thank you so much. At the back end we have Honey, I guess, and I'm glad that we have these links ready with us in the chat section, so please just take it from there. Right, thank you Sham for joining in. Fine. The next thing that we're going to be seeing is descriptive English. Okay, again very simple questions were asked. You have questions from essay writing. Okay, and you can see these are very simple questions. In case you haven't referred to any of the material that we have provided, you could have still gone ahead with pros and cons of teaching coding or computer languages to school students. Right, very general topic. Each one of us have our own opinions on it. Right, the next thing, there was essay writing and reading comprehension. Fine. The main motive for me to show the questions to you before we even go into or deep dive into the preparation is you will have to know what on earth have been asked last year in the question, right? Question paper. You just don't blindly start studying anything. That's the reason you need to know the previous year questions. Fine. So this segment is done. The step 1 is done. At least the descriptive part I've shown it to you. Objective type, go ahead and solve those questions, right? Next, go through the syllabus at least twice. I again repeat myself, there are many students who are going to be clearing phase 1, still you are not having the topics on your fingertip. That is the biggest mistake. Understand the syllabus. You should know the topics that you should be ready with. Okay? Fine. Now quickly let us take a glance at the important dates that we have at our disposal. We already know phase 1 is done. The next thing is phase 2, right? And phase 2 is going to be on June 25th. So approximately we have 4 weeks available, right? Okay. Again repeating myself, I request you guys, don't do this blunder of waiting for a week. It will take at least a week for us to know the result, right? You have the answer key with you, you have the expected cutoff estimation. Why don't you guys be smart enough and go ahead with your preparation, right? Okay, no problem. I think I appreciate all kinds of inputs that are there in the chat section, so I will take it with a pinch of salt here. Fine. Let us look at the pattern. Now, if you talk about RBI Grade B 2022 pattern, phase 2, we have 3 papers, right? And we will be dealing with all these 3 papers, how one needs to go ahead with these 3 papers. Fine. See, the first thing is you will have 2 shift. If you don't know, I'll just tell you, you're going to have 2 shift. In the first shift, you'll be writing F&M paper, fine. And in the afternoon shift, you'll be writing ESI and Descriptive English back to back. Okay, so these are the 3 papers that we'll be attempting, and as you know, since you're watching this session, then I'm assuming that you know the pattern very well, the phase 2 pattern, that it is a mix of objective and descriptive together. Fine. Okay, now let's move on and understand one more thing. Let me point out, there are going to be 4 questions that you guys will be writing for F&M paper and 4 questions for your ESI paper, right? Out of those 4 questions, 2 questions are going to be 15 markers and 2 questions are going to be 10 markers. There is going to be a choice for you. As I showed you the previous year papers also, you can see 3 questions, out of that 2 you need to select for 15 marker as well as for your 10 markers. Okay, makes sense, I believe. Now, the other thing is there is also going to be a third phase, which is nothing but your interview phase, fine? So your phase 2 and interview marks together is what decides your selection into RBI Grade B posts, right? Fine, let's move forward to your cutoffs first. See, we have referred to previous year papers. We understood that it is important for us to be up to date with the syllabus part, right? Now let us come to the other section, which is nothing but looking at the cutoffs. I just want you to know that last year, that was the first year when descriptive Q&A, descriptive part was introduced in phase 2, there was a pattern change, and you can see that the phase 2 cutoff, which is out of 300, 100 paper, 100 marks each for ESI, descriptive English and F&M paper. So it was 187.75. Fine, you can see there was a drop when you compare it with 2019, okay, but again the cutoff highly depends upon the difficulty level of the paper, so we cannot really predict something for phase 2, but I would just want you to know that if the paper falls to be in the tougher category, don't worry, it's going to be the same for everybody. Okay, now let's move towards why we are here in this particular session, right? And I can see one quick link in the chat section for all of you, which talks about RBI Grade B previous year cutoffs as well. So in case you have missed upon this particular bit, just quickly go and have a look at that particular link that is there in the comment section. Fine. Okay, so far so good. I would request at least 2 to 3 of you to quickly put in a thumbs up in the chat section so that I know you are listening to what I'm trying to make you understand here. Are we in sync with what's going on in this particular session? Even 2 thumbs up would be more than enough for me to just move forward to the next part of our live session today, which is the complete study plan. How are we going to take it forward? Okay, great. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Gauri. I think that works well for me. So let's move forward to the next section here. See, we will be talking about 2 things, okay? One is what are we intending to study, and when are we intending to study? See, what happens, most of us, when we have so many things on our plate, right, in our plate, like for example, there is ESI to do, there is FM to do, descriptive English, objective type, descriptive type, current affairs. I completely get your mind space. It's going to be really confusing, and sometimes you might feel a little overwhelmed, okay? You might be thinking it's too much to study. Everything can be aced if you actually put up a plan. Okay, a study plan is must, because we have only 25 more days to go, less than that even. So you will have to put up a plan for you. Now, a disclaimer here, we are coming up with a plan keeping in mind, say, all the students around, be it a working professional or be it someone who's having time completely for preparation, but you will have to tweak it based on your requirements. Okay. Now, we will be answering 2 questions here: what to study and how to study. That is the approach. Remember, when we were talking about your phase 2 pattern, we know it is objective plus descriptive. So we need to understand the approach as well. You cannot just keep reading everything, at the end try solving objective and descriptive questions. That's not how you can approach. Okay. So now we'll be dealing with ESI and FM paper, and we will understand what needs to be studied and what should be our approach. At the end, we will put up a study plan. Okay, it's going to be like a maybe timetable setup that we have. Okay, fine. Let's start with ESI first. See, whatever happens, your basics need to be strong, because remember, you also have objective type of questions. Secondly, even to attempt the descriptive type of questions, you need to have some basic ideas. Your fundamental needs to be clear, right? For that, what you need to do is, the step 1 is going to be quickly complete your basic, your concepts. If you haven't done that yet, please take a day out and complete it. Okay, I've given you few topics here. For example, you should know measurement of growth chapter. You should understand various indicators. You need to be clear about the difference first between monetary and fiscal policy. What are the important features of these policies, right? And what RBI uses as its tools, basically, as part of the monetary policy. Okay, you need to be very clear about balance of payment chapter. You need to be clear about what is meant by industrial and labor policy. Sustainable development, what do we mean by sustainable development in the first place, and Indian political system, just important articles would do for you. Fine. So now what you guys have to do, go ahead and clear your concepts first. Be very strong in these areas that you are able to see on your screen. That will be your step 1. This is going to help you for both objective as well as descriptive part. Step 2, move towards descriptive part. You need to elaborate on certain things here. For that, understand here, if you talk about ESI paper, friends, there are 3 areas from where the questions are given. Firstly, they do focus majorly on current events which are related to economics, banking and finance, politics, environment, right? So these kind of questions are usually asked. The second kind of questions that are asked are out and out government scheme based questions. The third thing is, they also ask sometimes, a mix of static and current. Usually in ESI, you're not going to see static questions directly, but they can give you a mix of both. They can give you certain concepts and then elaborating on a current affairs issue related to that particular concept. Fine. So this is how you need to first know what is required for you to study as aspirants. Fine. Now, from this perspective, these are some of the important topics from which current affairs questions are usually asked. Okay, so just take a screenshot for now, that would do, and we will also be updating this in the form of a blog, so obviously you can use that link, but for now I think it would be wise enough for you guys to just take a screenshot of what is there on your screen. Okay, and shortly what we are going to do is we're going to be coming up with a particular session as well, right, that will have, you know, few sample questions listed, so you can also attend that and get a very good understanding on the type of questions that are asked. Okay. Now, step 3 for ESI is going to be current affairs. As I told you now in step 2, when we were discussing regarding descriptive part of our ESI paper, that usually ESI is loaded with current affairs, be it your objective type of questions or be it your descriptive type of questions. This is the mantra to clear ESI, your current affairs part. Fine. Now, start from October 2021, but give more priority to obviously, you know, this current year that we are in. Fine. Make sure you know that in 2 markers, mostly you will see report and indices based questions, scheme based questions, some portals, apps. These kind of questions are bound to come in your 2 markers, because in case you're new here, understand that if you have cleared, you're going to clear phase 1 for the first time, then it's going to be a first time writing phase 2, right? So you should know there are 1 marker questions and 2 marker questions in objective type of questions. Usually the 2 marker questions are paragraph based questions. There will be a paragraph, based on that paragraph or related to that paragraph you get 2 to 3 questions. It is not like comprehension, okay? Sometimes it's not even necessary for you to read the entire paragraph and you can guess the scheme, and there are many other things or tricks that we usually use for paragraph based questions. Don't worry, we will also guide you there step by step, right? You'll have to go ahead and refer the phase 2 capsules that we are providing. It's a request, don't miss those capsules, okay? It has all the information that is required for you to complete current affairs. Fine. And important data points from there can be included while you're writing the descriptive answers. Fine. So here you need to be very, very smart enough to know what one needs to study for your descriptive portion. Fine. Step 4 for ESI is going to be union budget and economic survey. Fine. Sometimes union budget based questions can also be asked in FNM, okay, because finance is there. So don't worry, once you're done with union budget and economic survey, it will help you for including few data points there in your answer. Fine. Okay. Now let's start and understand how we need to do the finance and management paper. How do we need to prepare for your phase 2? A quick thumbs up in the chat section. Are you with me so far? Did you understand how we need to prepare for your ESI paper, friends? Because there's no point just going ahead with the session and you guys not understanding what needs to be done. Fine? Very important. Step 1. Brush up your basics, be very confident with your basics. It's going to be helping you out for objective and descriptive. Second, understand what needs to be done with respect to descriptive part, right? Be clever enough. Next thing, what are the important topics? Note those topics. Fine. Current affairs is the key to clear ESI paper. What needs to be done in the when you come to current affairs, as well as how you need to focus on paragraph based questions for objective type of paper, right? Finally, union budget and economic survey. Okay, so I can see only Nitin, Suraj, Rahul and Tushar giving me a thumbs up. So I assume all the other students out there haven't, you know, really understood what we have been discussing so far. Is that so? Because it's really going to be important for each one of you to understand what's required here. Fine. I hope all the others are also in sync or are on the same page as we all are. Fine, let me just move forward, and I would want all of you to please concentrate on the next section that we're going to be discussing quickly. Fine. So this is related to FNM, finance and management paper. I would say when you talk about finance and management paper, right, it's much easier when compared to ESI. Let me tell you why. FNM has finance and management. Management actually is a little predictable paper, right? Most of you think there are a lot of theories, there are so much things to read, and you might feel a little, you know, nervous about it. But if you give a thought to it, that's the easiest thing actually you need to do. Fine. So let's just move forward, have a look at management, what one needs to do. For management, there's nothing very elaborate that I would want to mention, because there are few chapters that are there and you will have to read all those chapters for both objective as well as descriptive. Okay, it goes without saying, nothing like, you know, specific as such. But when you talk about descriptive, yes, I would like to say that mostly the questions are seen coming from leadership, motivation, communication and ethics as well. But again, since management has a very closed syllabus, I would say quickly start reading each chapter from the perspective of objective and descriptive type of questions. I don't want you guys to be selective in management at least, but in case you are super specific and you have you know, time crunch, you still want to complete it, then maybe for descriptive portion just start focusing on these chapters first and then move towards the other. Right? Makes sense, I hope, for management section. Let's move on to the finance section. Again, you know, here also lately we have started to see a trend wherein in objective type of questions for finance, they have started to focus more on general finance or public finance, something which is in news, which is in trend, right? So you don't need to worry in case you are not very strong with the core financial terms or core financial concepts, okay? But still you need to be at least at par with the basic stuff that goes out. So let me just bring you directly with the topics list here. So for objective part, friends, these are few topics that we have mentioned, and I would want you guys to make sure you know these things or you have revised these chapters in case you haven't. In case you haven't learned these chapters, again, I would want you to go back and take a day or two to complete these basics here. Fine. See, one biggest advantage in objective type of question, obviously you know that, but I'm just specifying that you have options with you. So in case you are a little confused, you still can try eliminating the options and then maybe start to decipher which can be the correct answer based out of, say, two options that you're confused with, right? So you do have a backup in objective type of questions. So make sure you take that to your leverage and cover these basic topics first. Fine. And objective, again, current affairs is going to play a very major role. So for those of you who don't know, there's a separate capsule for finance based news. So make sure you are referring it from October 2021. Okay. Now for descriptive part, again, I would request you guys to take a screenshot here. What happens is, even in finance section, questions are usually mixed type. Okay, it can be even static in finance, completely static. It can be current affairs or mixed questions. Mixed questions mean static and current affairs. They will ask you the basic of certain concept and then they will touch upon the issue that was based on that particular basic concept recently or which is in trend. Okay. So just take a screenshot of this particular window that you can see here. And we also have a link to the descriptive, the capsules that we offer for current affairs. We can see that in the chat section. Right, so you can just go and have a look at that as well. So these chapters that you can see on screen, from these chapters the current event based questions are usually asked. We do see a question in terms of, say, alternate sources of finance or financial inclusion. There is some scheme which is linked to these concepts. You will definitely see a question on that. Just at the start of the session, in case you have joined us late, we did see the previous year questions, right? You can see there was a question which was as basic as talking about 5 major announcements made in the union budget, right? I don't think that's going to be a problem at all for any one of you to solve. Fine. So I think here we are on track with the descriptive part. Okay, so this is what we had to deal or we had to discuss with respect to ESI and F&M paper. Just a quick recap to you guys here. Understand two kinds of approaches happening for objective type and descriptive type. Though the chapters are going to be same, but obviously your focus needs to be a little broad when you're talking about descriptive, right? For objective, you have the help of the other options and you just have to tick the right answer, so it makes your life a little easier there, right? Current affairs is going to play a very major role in your ESI paper as well as your finance paper. So that's something which you have to do, right? So this is how the entire structuring needs to be done for the ESI and the F&M paper. Fine. Now what I will do is, I will not elaborate much on this descriptive English because we will be having multiple sessions. Each would be catering to different kind of paper that we have. But let me tell you some very quick pointers here. See, descriptive English is the easiest of the three papers. Why? Because the intention is just to see if you can structure your thoughts precisely into a few points, or the kind of format that they want you to do in. Fine. So if you talk all in all about descriptive English, it just talks about two important areas, or this is your homework basically. One is the content area and one is the format area, right? If I talk about the content area, then you are already doing work for it. You're already studying for ESI, you're studying for FNM, you're studying current affairs, so you have all the material that is required to be jotted down in the paper. So your content work is actually sorted. Fine. What you need to sort is your formatting area. That is something extra that you need to work when you are preparing for descriptive English, right? That means how to write. How do I structure my essay? I know everything about this topic. How do I frame this into beautiful paragraphs which logically connect with each other, which have a flow, right? How do I structure my précis? Fine. How, should I give a title to it? How do I answer my reading comprehension questions? Should I pick exact words there? Should I use my own words? That is all the format. That is what we are talking about. Okay, the format area. So if you know this formatting thing, plus you already have the content with you in your head, that's all. Your descriptive English preparation is over, with obviously the practice. Fine. So one time works for you for format. It just takes you 2 to 3 hours to get ready with your format stuff. Not even that, maybe in 2 hours that you're good to go. Fine. Let me tell you one important thing here. We do realize how important the feedback is for each one of you. So we have specifically come up with a descriptive module which is going to have 15 descriptive papers for you guys to solve, 5 ESI, 5 FM and 5 descriptive English papers with expert evaluation. Each of your papers going to be evaluated. You'll be given scores, you'll be given feedback, plus we will be discussing a model solution to those questions in the live session. Right. So for this course is going to be catering to those who are a little jittery about descriptive part, be it the descriptive English or ESI or FM. Fine. Okay. Now next thing is we're going to be having a quick look at the schedule. So this is the last leg of our discussion today in this particular live session that we are having. A quick thumbs up again in the chat section would be really appreciated. Okay. A quick thumbs up in the chat section would really be appreciated. Then we'll just move forward. Pradeepan, I'll answer your question. Just give me a sec. Okay, let me just move towards the next section first. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Rahul, Tushar. And in the chat section, you can see the 15 descriptive tests that we are offering with expert evaluation, plus the live discussion of the model answers for these tests. Okay. I think Nitin, Rahul, Tushar, Suraj have been really, engaging here, and thank you for the constant participation. It keeps us motivated to just keep moving on. Thank you, Aniket, for this. Thank you again. Okay, so I hope it's making sense. You guys have got a little bit of information at least, right? We are on track now to see the final part of this particular lecture. Okay, thank you, Khanna. I think that also gives me a little heads up to move forward. Fine. Let me, it's really making sense. Thank you, Nitin, for that. Okay, so I will take a question first. Let me just show the pattern in case there's a problem with the timing. So Pradeepan, here, let me just take you back so that you don't miss out on the timing part. Yeah, so here is your timing part. Fine. In case you're not very well aware about it, English section has 3 questions. One is essay writing, other is précis writing, next is reading comprehension. Duration is going to be 90 minutes for you and 100 marks. Fine? Okay. Now let's move on to the last schedule part. So it's not going to be that easy for us to crunch everything, but why not? It shouldn't be easy because it's RBI Grade B phase 2, right? That's what we really should think about it in that direction. So let's see how we can make it easy though. Fine. So this is something like an overall schedule which I've just started, to try to I've tried to jot it down for you guys, but again this can be tweaked based on your need, based on your expertise, based on your time availability. See, first thing, what do we have in our hands? We have 4 weeks to go. less than 4 weeks, I would say 25 days approximately. So we need to be very smart with our approach towards these things. Now let's start with week 1, and mind you, I'm starting week 1 from tomorrow. It's not going to be from the day the results are out, because then we will practically have only less than 3 weeks to go about it. Okay, fine. So now if you talk about the week 1, what are we going to do? See, I can understand one thing, that you guys are anxious about the result, right? You are little worried whether you're going to make it or not. So I'm just keeping it a little light compared to the next 3 weeks that are going to be there. Okay, complete your management section. That's very, very important. Okay, management section is not going to give you headache. Okay, and you can still be anxious at the same time prepare for your phase 2 as well. So let's do it this way. Fine. So complete your management section thoroughly. Okay, complete your finance basics. Go ahead and solve objective type of questions for your F&M paper. I'm not asking you to do anything else, but just do what is written on your screen, right? And current affairs, you will have to refer 3 months very quickly. The capsules are already there. Don't start going, very deep into it. Be little quick. Okay, set a timetable for yourself and complete this thing. Fine. And we also have, yes, Rahul, descriptive tests are available in RBI Grade B 2022 plus 2023 course. We are going to be adding those descriptive module in the complete crash course as well as the 2022 plus 2023 course. So don't worry about it. Okay. And you can see one link in your comment section which takes you to the downloadable revision sheets that we have. So that's really going to come in handy for you guys to very quickly revise all these chapters. Okay, there are a few chapters which will be updated in the coming week. Other chapters are already up. Okay, you can download these sheets, keep it for your last minute preparation. Fine. Okay, so coming back to the schedule that you can see on your screen. So week 1, we are keeping it a little light because I don't want you guys to be stressed. At the same time, do descriptive part, get completely confused, don't do all these things. Okay. Move on to week 2. I'm sure when we are reaching week 2, we know the results. You are a little more confident, I believe, right? And that will give you a push, that will give you a momentum to maybe do things, take double the load of what you're taking in first week. So I would want you to complete the finance and management part by having the focus on the descriptive part as well. Okay, and start with the ESI basics. Okay, now when you come to week 2, vigorously you need to start solving your objective type test for ESI and start attempting your descriptive test of F&M because you're done with finance and management. Okay, you will have to attempt 3 tests, friends. I know it sounds a little overwhelming, but hey, you will have to do it, right? And I think you need to set up a timetable and follow these things. Along with that, you can see the current affairs coverage that we have written. We have entered 2022, Jan, Feb, March capsules to be done. Okay. Now week 3, again tighten your belt. It's really going to be hectic again. A little more load can be taken because you're already into your preparations. You're midway into your preparations. So start focusing on a descriptive English part. Okay. And for ESI, start practicing your descriptive part as well. So you're going to be doing both these things, objective test and descriptive tests. Fine. And the same thing you can see on for your week 4, what needs to be done. So in case you are someone who has never attempted a descriptive test, there is a link for the free RBI Grade B descriptive answer writing. You can see that in the comment section. We have a particular platform on which you can actually go and start typing your answer. The platform is created keeping in mind the pattern of the examination because pen and paper is not going to be there. You need to go and literally type your answers over there, right? So we have developed that particular software where you can go write those answers. Immediately when you submit your answers, it will go to our faculty members. They will evaluate and give you ratings, give you feedback and come up with a model answer for you. Right, so that is what our descriptive module is all about. Fine. Now again, for those who have taken the comprehensive thing with us, I would say if you are confused about the sequence of what needs to be done, please make sure you do at least 2 reading of notes very quickly. Go ahead, have a look at the concept videos, again go back to notes and see if you want to read something again. This is for those who are having complete time only for preparation. Okay, topic wise test is a very important thing to do. Friends, if you are not able to see the videos, it's fine, please go and solve the topic wise tests. Okay, then have a look at the descriptive Q&A, the model answers that we have provided, and the descriptive test as well. Now I haven't mentioned the downloadable revision sheets here because they will come in handy for the last minute preparation for you guys. Okay, so once if you're done with all your chapters, the last 3 days maybe you can just quickly start reading all the revision sheets that you have. Fine. So how will Oliveboard help you? Obviously, we have different kind of plans that we have, are up with for phase 2. But again, I would say be wise enough to select which one suits you. Okay, if you're someone who's very nervous about descriptive, part, then maybe go for descriptive course. If you're sorted out with all the other things, if you're comfortable with the concepts, but you don't know if you're going in the right direction, right, then obviously you can go for the descriptive module, wherein we'll have 15 elaborate tests, 5 tests each for ESI, FM and English. So there are going to be totally 15 tests together, right, and it will be evaluated by our experts. You will also get live discussion on those tests. That is not mentioned here, I guess. Yeah, so that should be there. You will have live discussion of each of these tests that is there on your screen. Then you will also have model Q&A, right. One other thing is, if you're someone who is very say okay with the descriptive part and you want to just go and study notes and don't waste your time here, maybe just pick the learned pan. Okay, that also includes current affairs. But if you're someone who's looking to do everything, maybe solve topic test also, because topic test is part of only complete crash course, then please go for it. And one other note here, in case you are you have subscribed to the 2-year plan that we have, 2022 and 23, don't worry, you will get everything which is there as part of complete crash course there also, and which is part of descriptive course there also. So don't worry about it. Okay, so you can also see the link of the topic wise test in the chat section, right, and you can also check out all those plans. The link is given in the chat section for you guys. Okay, Ankur, I think if you have joined the session late, please just go back and have a look at the section. We have discussed elaborately on what needs to be done for your ESI and FM part, okay, for descriptive. Okay, Nitin has asked me a very valid question. Nitin says, ma'am, is it necessary to type and practice Q&A every day, or firstly we must broaden our knowledge? See, Nitin, there is a very thin line between doing that. So let me clear that question. Nitin has a very valid question. He has this question that every day should we keep practicing Q&A, or should we first completely read it and then start practicing Q&A? I would say it should be simultaneous. Okay, every day will go too much. Okay, but if you want to say complete for 7 days, 5 days first and then start practicing descriptive English vigorously, that also works for you. But don't do these 2 scenarios. Let me tell you those scenarios. One scenario is just continuously practicing every day, not even knowing what is the content. Okay, that is also not done. The other thing is completely reading every day, and at the last day you're trying to solve something or write practice few Q&A. That is not going to be there. So you will have to follow a midway. Okay. Tushar is saying he's already purchased RBI Grade B course, but he's unable to find phase 2 current affairs. Okay, Tushar, I think this is for you, the answer to your question. If you can see, this is how our interface looks like. You can see under the Learn tab, you will see RBI Current Affairs. Okay, please go and click that particular tab. You will be able to see all your current affairs capsules. It is not PDF, it should be read online. Please understand that. Only revision sheets are downloadable. Okay. Please understand that, because we will have to protect the content, so we cannot offer you PDFs. You will have to go and read online. You can see that there is a tab specifically mentioned RBI Current Affairs. Click, all your current affairs material is there under this particular tab, updated till May. Okay, fine. Most welcome, Nitin. So This is how Oliveboard is going to help you. This is how the interface looks like. We have past year papers, topic test, descriptive test, question answers, obviously ESI and FM lessons, revision sheets, concept videos, and there are many other things. Just go and explore first. I think Nitin, thank you so much for watching the last minute tips and actually going and following those tips. That's really important. Okay, I'll just take the question in a minute. Okay, just let me just finish this part and then coming back to the question. So this is the descriptive test mock landing page that we have. Like you can just see the kind of test that we have uploaded. Okay, fine. So not taking much of your time. This is how the test look like, and this is how it's going to be looking when you go for the real examination, right? So this is how you will have to go and type in there. The same particular format is provided by Oliveboard as well, so you can do that and submit your answers. One humble request, please don't practice answers using pen and paper. It's not going to lead you anywhere. No, don't do this mistake. You might have the beautiful answers with you, you might have a very good skill set of framing answers, but if you're not typing it out, you're just writing on pen and paper with pen and paper, it's not going to be fine. Okay, this is one major mistake many of you do, so don't do that. Okay, Aniket has a question regarding current affairs of June. Do we need to read everything like we read for phase 1 or only reports, indices and finance news? Aniket, only reports, indices, finance news and few changes in schemes if they are there in the month of June. That too only the first 15 days or 10 days also would be more than enough. Okay, you don't have to read sport related news or important days, science. Basically anything which is related to specific phase 1 need not be done in the month of June. Okay, so Aniket has a very valid question. Just read reports and indices, finance news, and maybe if some scheme is launched or some changes is made to the existing scheme in the month of June, that needs to be done. Okay. So guys, I think we are at the end of the session. Fine, and quickly, I hope it really helped you out, and I want all of you to go back and start preparing. Remember step 1 and step 2 that we discussed. Fine, you'll have to know the previous year question papers, you will have to know the syllabus, right? And you should know the approach at the same time. Fine. Thank you so much. Please drop this dilemma. Don't be anxious for the next 7 days, right? Just start dig deep into your preparation. You have done preparation for so many days, friends, right? Why can't you just be a little peaceful inside and start doing it for the next 7 days? It's just a matter of week, but at the same time, this particular week is going to cost you a lot. See the situation. What if you actually clear the examination and you're thinking you might not, and then what would you do in the next 3 weeks? Okay, not even 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks. Okay, take it slow if you want, that is not a problem, but please don't waste all these 7 days just like that. Okay, fine. Thank you so much guys, each one of you, for being there, being patient, trying to listen to each thing that I tell you, and just stay tuned. We'll be coming with many sessions giving you complete guidance for phase 2. Don't worry about that. Okay, thank you so much guys. Thank you.